Here's my review of the EAG tire carrier found on Amazon and Vicious Off-Road. This is the cheapest tire carrier you can find, and don't kind of kid yourself otherwise. This is about 50 or more dollars cheaper than the next option, especially when you get to kind of the name brand websites. But for the price, I think I got a pretty good deal. So my stock tire carrier was my 33-inch tire and my aftermarket wheels. It was just, to the tailgate, and it was wobbling like crazy. This definitely fixed that problem. That was really good. So the only other issues I came across were some rattling that I think I've pretty much fixed. So just make sure everything's tightened down, and I'll show you some tips and tricks here. So what do I not like about this? So the biggest thing about this that I don't like are the instructions. They are absolute garbage. So wrong tools, out of place, and it's just all over the place. That's why I'm doing a install thing, because I want to make sure that this is easy, because this is worth the price just so long as we know how to install it. That's pretty garbage. So also I don't like is because there's two different hinges, one for the tire carrier, one for the tire carrier tailgate. This pivot right here. Now I don't know why it's adjustable is kind of my question, because I don't understand why different JKs have different tailgate lengths, so that shouldn't be adjustable. And I have everything tight. I made sure that lot, and it still wobbles. So when I was driving down the road, before I added these paper towels right here, it hit this, and it would wobble like crazy. So it was sturdy, but it would just make noise. And so I put some paper towels and some tape. Super easy, super cheap. You don't have to go that cheap because you're saving so much money. You could spend $1, and then you could find a piece of foam or something. Completely up to you. One thing I do like about this tire carrier though is you don't have to have the third brake light. So I have a ring light right here that actually was made for the it was made to fit with the stock one too, so I have a spare one here. But this was like $50 on Amazon with the wiring harnesses, so there's no splicing. And then with the money you're saving on this, you should get one of these, because instead of splicing and dealing with the whole third brake light, this is a much better option. You get more visibility at your back window, and it's just kind of cool looking in my opinion. But because this is so cheap, you can spend a little bit more and have this third brake light too. That's just my 2 cents. So let's get to the install real quick. So absolute garbage instructions, out of place. They say you use tools in some of these that aren't right here. I don't know why. You actually even don't use an 18mm anything here in this. So I have no idea why. What you will need is a 13, 16, 17, and 19mm sockets. You're going to need a T50 and T20 Torx bit, a drive. I use the 19 with the 1/2 inch, completely up to you, just my personal preference. A 13mm socket. You're going to need a 6mm hex head or an Allen wrench, and then a 3/8 drive torque wrench. So let's get to the instructions right now. So this piece right here is actually this piece. It came installed in this. I was confused at first why it wasn't there, but it's just this piece right here. So I didn't use a J piece, which is actually kind of a whole page that you just don't need to do if you have this. It just saves time and effort, and it's just so much easier to have that ring light there. So pages 2 and 3 are pretty self-explanatory. It's just taking off the original. Kind of hard to mess that up. Glad they didn't. You will need a 13mm socket for the hinges right here, and then you're going to need a T50 for the Torx bits that mount to the actual body of the vehicle. So you will need those. I think they give you they're a whole new 13mm, but you have to keep the Torx bits from the original. So okay, so I skipped this whole page, page 4, because I didn't have a brake light. To uninstall it, you will need the 20mm or the T20 Torx bit to take off the factory brake light. So even if you're not installing the one that comes with it, you still have to have the T20 to take off that original. So page 5 is where it starts to actually get into the build. So It is just reinstalling the or installing the brackets it comes with. So the bracket is this piece right here with both the hinges. So you want to hand tighten these down before you actually put them in place to make sure you have it. Now this is where the torque wrench comes in handy. So you want to tighten these down once they're all hand tightened in place and you got everything where it's not going to move. These tighten down to 19 foot-pounds, and these tighten down to 15 foot-pounds. That comes from extremetrain.com. So if you want to double check that, go ahead. It's it's free to online. So these go down to 19 foot-pounds, and these go down to 15. And I just did these to 15 as well, all the ones around here. So this is pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy. Step 4 is actually pretty easy on this hole. It's just pretty much putting this in place and dropping this pin in, and it's pretty self-explanatory. However, this is where it kind of gets super confusing. So step 5 should be the very last step. I have no idea why they did that. So what you're going to want to do is skip that step completely for now and go to step 6. So you just kind of want to line this up. This is kind of where you install this piece right here, but it was already installed for me, so it's kind of redundant. Put the bolts in. So step 8 is where you're going to install the third brake light. I didn't do that, but you still have to install the top 4. I kind of missed that. I almost missed that actually until the very last. I kind of realized that, oh wait, these actually have to be here. So make sure you install all of these, and once they're all in there hand tight, torque them down to 15 foot-pounds again. And yeah, that's just kind of all that right there. So step 10 and step 11 is going to be installing this piece right here. So this is where you do use the 16 and 17. You're going to use the 16 on the top and the 17 on the bottom. Now you could use a wrench for this. You could use 2 ratchets. Completely up to you. And you can do it for it's for that one and that one. They're both the same. All right. So don't know why they just didn't have that in the very beginning. Is what it is. And now it says, oh, after that step you're done. Well, it's like, where's the tire go on? That's where this step comes back in handy. But it says nothing about here with, this is 18 millimeter. These are actually 19 millimeters. So these are definitely 19 millimeters. And then this piece right here is 19 millimeters. So I actually have no idea what these are. They're just bolts that go through a hole. This part does not slide like it looks like. It's just solid metal. I don't know why they're there. I did tighten them down. There were no torque specs on that. I did tighten this down as much as I could. That's why I prefer the 1/2-inch drive. You just tighten these down as much as you possibly can. Same with all of this stuff. Make sure the best way to tighten this part is to, if this is too short, it won't let the tailgate close all the way. It'll stop that right there. So just keep doing that until you get to the very last. I'll click right about here's where it stops. So just make sure you do one more full turn, close all the way. But see, the thing with this, because you can adjust it and it's not super accurate, it still might do that. So one more side note is when you are installing these, they're actually 2 different things. So you will need that the 6 millimeter, and then you're going to need a 13 millimeter wrench as well. So goes for both of these. Actually, this one I believe is going to be the 16 as well. This one is going to be 16 millimeters. Actually, it's 17. All right, so that's sorry about that, guys. That's 17 millimeters. So this is 13. The small one is 13, and this one is going to be 17 millimeter socket. And you're going to want to tighten this one down as hard as you possibly can, because this is kind of the main swivel point of the tailgate. So if it's not tight all the way down, it's going to rattle when you drive. Like, it's not completely in place. So make sure this is completely tight. This one you don't want to tighten all the way, because the tighter this is, the harder it will be to move the entire tailgate up and down. It's just kind of the way it's designed. Not quite sure why, but they're just designed differently. So tighten this not all the way down, so I'm going to move it, so loosen just enough to your liking. Like if you don't want it to, if tighten it, you know, tight enough, it'll stay in spot instead of moving around when you're like, you know, up or down a hill. So completely up to you what you want to do. Again, make sure this is completely tight. So that's really about it. It does come with 3 lug nuts, but I had, you know, just from mine for my aftermarket wheels. So that's kind of the whole install. It is super easy because of the, you know, weight. It's recommended with a friend. It's not super hard at all. I just don't want the instructions to throw anyone off, because this can be a really you know, good product, so long as you get that, you know, the little quirks and stuff here. Make sure it's all tight. Now this might come loose, so Loctite might be your friend here on that nut down there. Completely up to you, because it does not rotate on the bolts like this rotates on the bolt. See, where this one does not. So this can be as tight as you want it to be. This one not quite as tight. So that's kind of my install. I do like this. I am glad I purchased this, especially for the price. So I paid $250 for this thing, with that 3-day shipping from Vicious Off-Road. Amazon, another great seller. Vicious Off-Road doesn't have nearly as big of inventory as Amazon does. So even at that, it's still under $300 just for, you know, for everything here. Comes with a whole new hinges, you know, so it gets rid of your factory ones completely. You might want to, you know, before you put the new stuff on, you know, wash it, because it's kind of dirty down there. But I was in the trails last week, so and this is a, you know, it held up just fine. So once you get out little quirks and stuff, this can be a really good tire carrier. So thank you all for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy.